What was that? The bizarre conversation between Flick and Raphinha after the match. Spanish social media is already exploding with one question no Kool-Aid can ignore. What exactly happened between Hansi Flick and Raphinha after the win against Alaves? Because the moment was genuinely unsettling. Flick is sitting on the bench with the face of a man who just had lost the Champions League final. Not someone who won 3-1. Absolutely no joy. No relief, just a cold, worried stare into the void. And then Raphinha walks up to him. Our captain, the man with 2 assists, the reason Barça even mounted a comeback. He leans in, places his hands on Flick's knees, and asks something. The scene looks like the players comforting the coach, not the other way around. And Flick's reply? Short, empty, no smile, no spark. The tension was thick enough to cut with a knife. At the press conference, the German didn't sugarcoat anything. We need to improve many things. We lack control, we lack intensity. We must work on these immediately. Sounds like we lost, right? But no, this came after a victory, after almost brace, after Raphinha's return, after another bright spark from Pedri. So why the storm clouds? Because Flick sees more than we do. He knows the Spanish Super Cup in Saudi Arabia is coming. In the Champions League, there is zero margin for error. The calendar is tightening like a vice, and weaknesses will be exposed. And yes, he is deeply concerned. Araujo is mentally shaking after his red card in London. Frank de Jong vanished from the squad with no clear explanation. The team is playing in flashes, not consistently. Flick wants control. Total control, iron control. And right now, he doesn't have it. And here's the twist that changes everything. After the match, Raphinha told me the same thing he said last time. We will improve. We will be much better in the next matches, Hansi Flick said. Notice something. It wasn't the coach reassuring the player. It was the player reassuring the coach. This is a role reversal. That is a message. That is a warning bell. What does this mean for Barça? The team wins, the coach isn't happy, the captain comforts the manager, and the toughest stretch of the season is right around the corner. Do you feel that contradiction too? Barça is winning, but looks like it's losing something much bigger. So here's the question every Kool-Aid needs to answer. Is this the calm before a breakthrough? Or the calm before a storm? Tell me in the comments, I want to hear what you think. And we need to talk about the match, of course. Barça started the match half asleep and paid for it. 20 seconds in, Ibanez scored and Spotify Camp Nou froze. The team looked lost, confused and without direction until Raphinha took control. The Brazilian didn't just play, he dragged Barça back to life. First, a perfect assist for Lamine Yamal, then another one for Dani Olmo, 2 actions that flipped the match and restored belief to a team that was running on fumes. Alaves refused to die. They countered, pressed and created danger, forcing Joan Garcia and Kubarsi into heroic saves. Barça had possession but no calm until Pedri came on and brought order. Still, the match needed a finishing blow. It arrived late, with Olmo and Yamal combining in a beautiful 1-2 that sealed the 3-1 relief, finally. But make no mistakes, this was Raphinha's game. His energy, leadership and attitude turned the disaster into win. On the club's 126th anniversary, he reminded everyone, Barça doesn't sleep. Not when Raphinha is awake. The best gift we could give the club on its anniversary was the victory, Raphinha said after the 3-1 win over Alaves. And let's be honest, he wasn't just talking. He wrapped that gift himself. 2 assists, leadership, relentless pressing, and suddenly Barça woke up. On Barça's 126th birthday, the captain wasn't Ter Stegen, wasn't Araujo, wasn't De Jong. The number tell a story, but not the whole one. Yes, the match report says 2 assists, 2 key passes, no hesitation. But the real truth, impact, aura, responsibility. When Raphinha presses, no one else dares to walk. Lewandowski, Lamine, Rashford, even Ferran. Either they switch on or they look like tourists taking pictures at Plaza Catalunya instead of Barça players. Flick didn't shout it, but he didn't hide it either. When Raphinha presses, everyone is ready to press too. Translated into human language, Raphinha is the spark, the battery, the energy source. If someone has to be the annoying one, I'll do it. This isn't a joke, he actually said it. Raphinha knows he gets on people's nerves. He admits it, he owns it, and he embraces it, because that's Flick's Barça. That's the model. Someone has to demand more. Someone has to say the uncomfortable things. Raphinha chose to be that guy. The locker room engine with no mute button. Try and tell me this isn't the mentality we've been begging for since 2014-2015 season. After the match, Dani Olmo looked like a kid on Christmas morning. I dreamed of playing here and scoring. And who made that dream happen? Right, Raphinha. He walked out first, he turned on the press, he sent the message. We are not celebrating a birthday with a defeat. Only a goal was missing to turn his night into a Hollywood script. And here's what the fans are saying about Hansi Flick's situation at Barcelona. I think it's time for us to stand strong and back Hansi Flick to the very end. He brought hope back to defense after many years, and letting him go would be one of the biggest mistakes in the history of FC Barcelona. It's completely understandable that he looks worn out because of the team, and for that very reason, if necessary, I would get rid of the half of the squad before allowing him to leave. With you until the end, Hansi. Barca fan Alex wrote on X. Even after winning, Hansi Flick is still set. This team is still not where he wants it to be, and you could see it in his face. Annabella noticed. Please protect my coach. Protect Hansi Flick at any cost. This man loves Barcelona more than any cooler who wishes him gone from this club. It would be a shame if we didn't win a Champions League title under him. Do it for him, FC Barcelona. Ronit praised. And now look at this. This photo is pure nightmare fuel. Look at Hansi Flick's face. He looks like he's been coaching this club for 7 years straight without sunlight. He looks like a man who personally laid every brick of the Spotify Camp Nou project, slept in the tunnels under Montjuic, and here's control and intensity whispered into his ear instead of bedtime stories. His face is Laporta's pressure, the calendar's counterattacks, and the emotional exhaustion of someone who's aged a decade since August. This isn't a coach after a routine league match. This is a man who has lived 5 seasons in 1 month. And the scariest part? He's not even trying to hide it. He'll let the world see him like this. No filter, no smile, no hope of a magical January signing. Flick looks like someone who survived Manchester City's pressing without anesthesia. He's simultaneously coaching the first team, the academy, and the club's medical staff. Knows Barca's financial debt better than the board itself, and if this is how he looks after 4 months of a new season, I don't even want to imagine March. But if you think this story ends here, it totally doesn't. What we saw with Flick and Raphinha is just the tip of something boiling inside FC Barcelona. Flick's expression, the tension after a win, the captain comforting the coach, this isn't normal. And it raises one huge question. What is really happening behind the scenes? If you want the truth, not rumors, there is only one place that tracks it in real time. Barcelona Live app. That's where the biggest updates appear first. Flick's concerns about the squad, the hidden dressing room pressure, the January decisions that could define the season, and Raphinha's rise as the emotional leader of the team. If you want to follow this saga as it unfolds, download Barcelona Live. Link is in the pinned comment. Watching Barca without it now is like watching a thriller without knowing who the villain is. And now your turn. Is Flick the man who will rebuild Barca, or the man Barca will break? Tell me in the comments. Like this video, subscribe for more, share your opinion, and of course, Visca el Barça. See you next time. Bye bye.